Alright guys, so I had somebody request an update out of our green giant arborvitae hedge out front, and so let's go ahead and do that now. They've been growing on all summer, but I want to warn you, you're not going to see miraculous results, and the reason is, but you're going to like what I show you here because this is a really interesting comparison between plants. But the reason that these guys didn't shoot off this year, I'm sure of, is for two reasons. One, because I just planted them. I disturbed the roots, broke the root balls up, planted them in new soil, and they're just trying to get established. Two, we had a long, hot summer for our area, and it was dry all summer long. They didn't get as much water as they should have gotten, and I didn't have a watering system. I was going out day after day, well, not every day, but I was going out there with 5-gallon buckets of water, dumping on them throughout the summer, and they really should have gotten more water to reach their maximum potential. Now I've got a really neat comparison to show you. I didn't do this on purpose, but it just so turned out, it worked out so that you can see what one looks like when it gets tons of water through the summer in a little bit of shade. You know, it's just a little better cared for, and what they look like when they're first planted out and they're really dry through the summer and don't get quite as much water. Let's go take a look at them now. Alright guys, so here's the hedge, and you can see they're all planted down there, but I've got quite a bit of weeds growing through here. It's all this darn thorny stuff. I got to come in and rip it all out, but I put down a huge bed of wood chips, as you saw, planted all these guys down in a row, and here they are. You can see this is pretty typical for all of them. They've put on a few inches of growth. The plants were back probably about here last I don't know, it was late spring, early summer, well, probably late spring when I planted them out, and they put on several inches of growth. Not as much as I would have liked, but they're just getting established, and it was a dry summer. But let's look at this comparison. So I had some left over in pots in my hoop house. Here, first of all, is one of them. Let me get some light on that. Here's one of them that's planted in the ground, and you can see all the nice, beautiful green growth on those guys, and it's getting well established. It's stuck in the ground. It's got good solid roots. But the top growth, as you can see, probably started about here last summer and then came all the way up. Oh shoot, that's maybe 5 inches, something like that. And you know, they fanned out a little bit more, the branches did. But look at this. Here's the comparison. This is one I brought out from inside the hoop house. This guy was in the hoop house all winter or all summer long, getting watered very well. Now it's in a pot, so obviously it looks taller, but you can see, look at the difference in the branching. Look at the branches on this guy in the ground versus the branches on this guy. Just much more lush and green. The reason, because it just got tons more water. I'm out there watering that hoop house all the time, watering all the plants well. And you can see the top growth is probably started, it looks like right about here this year. And it's got darn near a foot of growth on it. So you can see the difference the water makes for these guys through the summer. You gotta make sure you water them. Now they're getting good and established, and I've got tons of mulch down, so they'll get more moisture next year, and I'm gonna probably set up a system where I'm watering them more frequently. But once they're established, I think they're just gonna take off. But look at that beautiful green growth. That's the potted one that was in the hoop house. And here's the other side. You can see them all the way down there. And you can see they're still looking a little spindly. They put on some growth, but they're pretty small. But I think it's just the first year of them getting established. That's what they did in one summer with a long, dry, hot summer. So like I said, not much, but we'll see what happens next year now that they're established. Now here's one on that same side, and it actually put on, you can see the green, it put on probably 8 inches of growth, a little more than the other ones. Some of them grew a little better than the others. We're out by the road, so you can hear more cars out here, but the branches are more lush and stronger and healthy. I think it's because they got more water over here. I've got my roadies right here, and I'm constantly watering them, and so I think they just got more water on this side. But man, boy, that water sure does make a difference. All right, we're back in the hoop house, and I want to show you guys what these green giants look like that I have left. I think I had like 7 of them left in here after I planted them all out, and look at how lush and healthy they look. Like I said, these guys got water with the rest of my plants out here all summer long, stayed moist, and you can see, look at the growth. This is the one I just pulled out and showed you. This is the one right next to it. I mean, there's like a foot of new growth coming up on that guy, and they look green and lush and beautiful. And I mean, so that's another thing people might wonder. This is 50% shade right here. And they say green giants do their best in full sun, but this is 50% shade, and they're growing beautifully and thick. You put them close enough together, you're gonna get a thick, beautiful hedge. If that helps answer any questions for you guys that are wondering if they can go in a shadier location, 50% shade cloth, and look at that. I mean, look at the beautiful, I love these things, they're so beautiful and green. And anyway, I'm excited about how these things are going to grow over the next few years out front, just based on what I'm seeing right here. I just think I need to set up a system where they're getting watered more through the summer, and like I said, they're just getting established. You know, they're small and they're not going to do a whole lot the first year, but next year I think is going to be fantastic. They'll already be in the ground with good solid roots. These things grow awesome root systems. I started pulling, tugging on some of those out there, and they're in the ground hard and firm with good solid roots. They are not coming up. So I think next spring, as it rains more, these guys are going to take off. Remember, in that last video I showed you, I think it was the last video that I took of these guys, the update on these guys before, they started putting on growth early in the year, and so the ones out front are already getting established now. They're going to start putting on good growth early in the year, early in the spring, and they're going to have all summer, and I'm going to get more water to them. So there they are. I hope that answers your questions about the green giants. You know, I know you guys, some of you who are really interested in the green giants are wanting to see how they grow and move along, and that probably wasn't that fantastic of a shot of those guys, because they didn't put on a whole lot of growth. They put on, I don't know, an average of 5 inches maybe, which, you know, when you read the websites and all that, they say 3 foot a year. Well, yeah, you know, when the plants are well established and they've got perfect environment, I mean, some of them may put on 3 foot a year, but it's going to take some time. It's not going to be for the first year or 2 or maybe even 3. It's going to be after they're established for a few years. Now, next spring I'll come back out, probably won't be spring, but next summer sometime after spring, when there's some good growth on them, I'll come back out and show you guys exactly what's going on with them and how much growth they're putting on. I'm going to try and get more water to them next year, and I think we're going to have some really nice results, because these things are, I mean, it's in their genes. They're designed to take off and grow like crazy. I hope this helps you guys understand how fast or not so fast they're going to grow in their first year when they're planted in the ground. I'll keep updating you on that. I also want to show you something really cool over here, because it's kind of neat. So I actually took some cuttings of those green giants last spring. It was before, it was when we were still having freezing temps, I think, or just breaking out of that. And here they are. It's kind of the wrong time, I thought, to take cuttings of these guys, but look at that. They sat in here all summer. I watered them, and they put on nice growth. They rooted. All these guys, all these little cuttings of the green giants rooted very well. So I'm going to have a lot more to pot up. These guys are doing great. Now, normally I would take these cuttings in the fall right now, which is what I intend to do. I want to take a lot more cuttings, but I took them last spring and they took off like crazy. That was a year-old growth last spring that I took, and they just rooted like crazy. So it can be done, and these guys root fairly well, as you can see. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Like the video, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video.